I'm a licensed mental health counselor,
Okay.
which simply means that I have a master's degree in psychological counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I was in private practice for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I dealt with many problems and diagnoses.
Unlock the secrets of brilliant minds. Join Mary Jean Sefton, a renowned psychotherapist, as she delves into the realms of Carl Jung's theory of synchronicity with Anthony Nayagan. Ever wondered how this theory connects to spirituality, everyday living, creativity, innovation, and decision-making? This is a journey into the depths of the mind, exploring the intersections of psychology, spirituality, and innovation. Whether you seek inspiration or simply love thought-provoking conversations, this is a video you won't want to miss. Watch till the end to uncover the hidden gems of wisdom. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments, spread the knowledge in your network, and hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe for more mind-expanding content. Get ready to think like the visionaries who changed the game.
Synchronicity, let's understand what it is. Synchronicity is we run into a situation, we run into an imagery or something we all of a sudden witness, an experience maybe, that lends some kind of familiarity to something in our lives. That kind of lends a lot of similarity. See, sometimes we meet people who are absolute strangers, but they look so familiar to us. Sometimes we are in a place, in an area where we have never been there before, but all of a sudden a certain area looks so familiar to us as if we had been there before. See, these are actually synchronicity experiences. But the truth is, these are incidences in our life that connects certain things to certain things. In other words, it connects the present moment to something that could be. And it is very meaningful. It is meaningful not in a logical order, but from the point of view of observation. What does that mean? What does that mean? You see, a lot of the times when we have a synchronicity experience, we immediately jump into intellectually interpreting it, intellectually questioning what it means. In other words, our intelligence wants to know what it means. But is that the right way of dealing with the synchronicity experience? Answer is yes and no. Because what you witness in a synchronicity experience is a present moment reality that is connected to something that we are meant to do. You see, it becomes so familiar that we can do something about it. A lot of scientists go through these experiences. A lot of people who are artists, sculptors, they just look at something and they know what is in that piece of rock.
Right.
And they can bring it out.
Right.
So they see before they start carving.
Right.
You know, they look at a canvas and they know exactly how the canvas is going to turn out.
Right.
You know, and sometimes they just, look under the microscope of something that they are working on, and all of a sudden they see something that lends so much familiarity and they know what it is. Although they cannot scientifically infer it in a certain logical order, but they know what it is. See, a lot of musicians, before they sit in front of the piano, they know what the composition is going to sound like. Then it's a matter of connecting it. So, the implementation process of the experience itself, yeah, it takes a sort of an intellectual order to get it done. But the experience itself, it is not an intellectual experience. It is an emotional experience. Yeah. So when you are looking at a synchronicity incident or an experience, you don't immediately jumping into connecting the orders, connecting the logical orders of it.
Right.
Or trying to infer the relativities and define the sensory experience of it. You don't. That's the wrong way of approaching it. What you do is you just sit back, undisturbed, observe how the emotions are connecting. The emotions are playing in the experience itself. This is what meditation helps you do. A lot of us think that people like, say, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Nikola Tesla, and some great scientists, Einstein, you just name them. There are so many of them, Da Vinci, Mozart, Beethoven, and we really think that they are exceptional people. They are geniuses who don't even belong in our category. The only difference that they have that we don't, they can observe the emotions, how the emotions are at play. Then they can bring in their normal intellect to implement what they witnessed. This is what I call outside the box observation.
Right.
See, outside the box observation anyone can do. See, we as children, we learned our first language by way of observation. See, we did not study alphabets, we did not memorize alphabets, we did not study grammar, we did not know any of those things. We just observed other people speaking. And even at a time we could not even, our mouth was not formed enough to speak what we know. We knew the language. Mm-hmm. So that is the power of observation. This is the reason why not only Jesus, every religion, every scripture talks about that mind of the child and the power of observation. There is a saying in the Bible, you hide these things from the intellects and the wise, yet you reveal them to little children. Mm-hmm. You see? So us coming back to that frame of mind where we can simply observe without intellectually involving in the observation itself, then we can do something with what we observe. We can be creative. We can be another Mozart. We can be another Tesla. We can be another Elon Musk. See, they are not exceptional people. The only thing that they didn't do in the process of acquiring intellectual knowledge, they did not sacrifice the power of observation. See, when we learned alphabets and grammar and all of that, we learned something, but we dropped the power, the power of observation and learning a language fell into the pitfall.
Right.
See, now it takes forever for us to learn a language. Even though we know how to learn a language, it takes forever. See, that's the limitation of intellectual mind. Whereas the power of observation, it transcends all these barriers, all these norms, all these structures, all these standards. So we need to be in that frame of mind, observe the emotions of the synchronicity experience we are going through. And that observation is not trying to analyze it intellectually, but trying to see how emotions connect with elements. See, in universal consciousness, you don't see the universe is connecting with other elements through an intellectual process, but they connect through an emotional process. They respond to an emotional spark. They don't respond to an intellectual logic.
Right.
It's only human beings in our intellect. We employ our intelligence to figure out things and to do things and to do all of that. But in the abstract universe, that's not how it works. It's the emotions connecting with each other. Even when we are looking at an observation, let's say, for instance, we're going to create music. See, we know the order and all of that. Forget that. Just experience that synchronicity experience and see how emotions are connecting, emotions are interplaying, emotions are responding. And then recreate the emotions in an intellectual order.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
Now you can create things that can stand the test of time. See, Mozart created, he cannot be plagiarized.
Right.
You see, and what he created, it stands the test of time. So did great scientist Tesla, Da Vinci. So there's so many of them we can talk about, not just one or two. All of them, they saw how the emotions play with each other, influence other elements, and they see the whole system as emotionally connected, not as intellectually connected. Mm-hmm. Then they come back and they intellectually hardwire the elements to represent what they emotionally observed. That's how you create things out of the ideas you get in out-of-the-box thinking. You see, when you are somebody who is meditating regularly, you're going to run into synchronicity experiences all the time. It is not something that exceptionally happened. For instance, when I first got the inspiration to write the book, I wrote all kinds of things. It didn't make any sense to me. Then I stopped writing. Then I started meditating. And when I was meditating, I had one question in my mind. And that question is, see, our Father in heaven, Jesus, and even St. Paul, he is talking about a man and a woman uniting and becoming one body. Repeated 3 times in the Bible.
Right.
From Genesis to St. Paul. And Jesus repeated the same thing. So how could 2 bodies unite and become one body? So I knew it has nothing to do with body. It has nothing to do with body. It has to have something to do with something else. Okay, so, well, did I have an answer? No. But you see, that was a synchronicity experience. When I was meditating, that question itself is a synchronicity experience. Did I have the full answer to it? No. I kept on meditating. You see, then as I meditated more and more and more and more, that synchronicity experience started evolving. You see, here I am someone who does not have any knowledge of quantum physics, cosmology, absolutely no knowledge whatsoever. And I was led into observing all those kinds of things. until I came to a point of saying, you know what, I'm not going to write anything about it because I cannot make an empirical case out of it. Here I am trying to bring intellect into what I observed.
Right.
You see, because I really did not know how to make an empirical case of what I observed in my synchronicity experience. Referring books and all of that, started with physics, quantum physics and quantum cosmology and philosophy and theology and all sorts of things, psychology and even medicine. To research all these matters so that I could make an empirical case of my synchronicity experience.
Okay.
See, all of this happened during meditation. And the intellectual process, that happened outside of my meditation.
Okay.
You see, so we will go through this process all the time. The only thing is, when we observe something, we only observe the emotions. We don't try to figure out immediately what it is all about.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Oh, yes.
See, so all of your visualization techniques and all of that, it can take a role when you are trying to intellectualize what you observed. Imaginations, visualizations, all of that, you know, it's a very popular way of intellectualizing an outcome.
Right.
Do so out of your observation. So it is not, outside the box thinking is not something that is conflicting or contradicting with the theories of visualization. But the only thing is, these are two separate things.
Okay.
So the synchronicity experiences, observing it, understand how the emotions are playing out.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not happen in one instance. It could happen over a period of a long time. I mean, for me, you know, when I first had that synchronicity experience, that it has something to do with not we as matter, not we as body, but there is something else Jesus is alluding to, and that is not clearly represented in the Bible. So I had the courage to go and observe what it is. So even for me, who is a very disciplined Catholic in many ways, to break out of the doctrinal teachings of the Bible, it was not easy.
Right.
But I had the inner freedom to go further. See, and that was something that was given to me. And with that grace, I was not trying to intellectually figuring out what it was. I was only observing my synchronicity experiences. This experience, this questioning, this exploration and all of that, it just did not happen overnight. It actually took me more than 6 months. See, even after 6 months, I will have a synchronicity experience and I will figure out I know what it is, then I will write a chapter. Then the second chapter takes another 2-3 months of meditation, another set of synchronicity, another set of intellectualization and empirical case making and all of that. Then comes the second chapter. So the book itself took me more than 3 years to write, to finish.
Because you were going through these phases.
Yeah. See, when we have a synchronicity experience, we are not going to come up with results and great ideas and things like that overnight. Not so. But if we are trained, you see, the thing is, even at that time, I was a novice. And I did not have anyone I can talk to or relate to that I can have a discussion with. Nothing. I was all on my own. Okay, so I had to personally go through all of these without any help. See, but all of these would change when you have help, when you can talk to people, when you can ask people other questions about the experiences you're having. Many things can change. Many things can, start to produce results rather quickly. when Einstein had that synchronicity experience of physics, he did not figure out immediately what it was. He did not have an intellectual order in place immediately. He did not even have a lab. Yet he knew what he was doing. See, that was a synchronicity experience. The power to articulate what you observed, that came later on. A lot of scientists go through this experience. Before they start delving into it, they know what they are delving into. The only thing is they cannot explain to others what it is, because the others want to know in an empirical order.
Right.
No, but they knew what it was. Mozart knew what he was going to compose. But the only thing is, if people ask him, what are you going to compose, he doesn't have a way to answer it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
See, that is the same thing. When we have a group of people or team of people who are thinking outside the box, it requires a lot of understanding, a lot of teamwork, a lot of respect for the experience itself, a lot of respect for the outside the box observation itself. Then we need to figure out that the intellectual order and the observation are completely two different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The person who observed cannot readily explain to you, what that order is. It is going to come out eventually, but it will come out a piece at a time.
Okay.
Because it's still evolving in his intellectual mind as he still continues to observe. See, he is observing how emotions are connecting. He is not looking at how matters are connecting at molecular levels. That's not how he is thinking. That is not how he is observing. That molecular connectivity comes later on when you put that in an intellectual order. See, what we need to do is, as a team, we need to have the respect to give space, give that understanding, give that support necessary, so that the power of observation can evolve quickly. In a supportive environment, I'm sure, all of us know that it will evolve quickly. In an isolated environment, no, it's not. See, the answer to working with Tesla is not locking him up in a dark room in a hotel in New York. It's not. Bring him to Westinghouse, make him work with other scientists and other people, but make sure that those people understand how Tesla's mind operates.
Right.
Give them the respect and space for it.
Right.
And find a supportive way to engage that and intellectualize the process. See, that's really what innovative thinking, outside the box thinking is all about. It is not a one-man show. See, the difference, Elon Musk could do all of these things because he has a team of people who does the intellectual part of it. And he himself is a person who is not isolated from the intellectual process. He can do both. See, to what extent he can balance both, we don't know that. Yeah. But he is someone I have observed that he can do that. But at least he has a team of people who can work with Elon Musk. The same thing that happened with Steve Jobs. See, Steve Jobs is an outside-the-box thinker. He is someone who have had several synchronicity experiences in his career. He was a very spiritual man. He is somebody who meditates regularly.
Right.
He had a lot of respect for his own synchronicity experiences.
Right.
Was he able to communicate his synchronicity experiences in a logical order? No. If you read about his experiences and his biographies and other people describing how he was in a corporate meetings and all of that, You really don't see that. He is somebody who kept on communicating, his emotional connections to the synchronicity experiences. And he experienced the scientists and the engineers and the programmers and everybody to figure it out. Even he recruited people like that. You see?
Right.
So that's how it works. Now, if we can develop a team who can together go through synchronicity experiences and have a lot of respect and a lot of understanding about what meditation is, what observation is, what synchronicity experience is, and what a person is going through as he has a synchronicity experience, then we can build a team very, very quickly and produce results. Very quickly. You see, the only thing is we need to understand what intellectual process is and what the process of observation is.
Yeah.
And we need to have a lot of respect for both processes.
Right.
See, me as a person, I know how to observe and I know how to go through synchronicity experiences. As far as the intellectual way of interpreting my experiences, I lacked it. I still lack in many ways because I'm not an engineer. I'm not somebody fluent in applying what I observed.
Right.
See, so it took me many years to even write a book, 3.5 years. A book I could have written in 1 month if I knew how to articulate a synchronicity experience. So it's very critical. Both these are very, very different, but both of them are required. And that is the teaching not only of Jesus, that is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita in Hinduism. One is not isolated from the other, although they are, but one has to transcend to reach the other.
Okay.
You see, I need to transcend my capacity to observe synchronicity experiences to gain intellectual knowledge about how to apply it. And the same goes to people who are intellectuals, to transcend their intellectual knowledge and go into out-of-the-box thinking and the power of observations and meditations and all of that. So it is actually a process of transcending. As you go through the transcending, respect each other, work as a team.
Right.
Then the power of observation can produce results very quickly. The training and learning and coaching and all of that about out-of-the-box observation, it really is a matter of how do we build a team to do this effectively? How do we make the team understand the difference between each other? And how do we make people in the team feel that one is not inferior to the other, or the one is not an exception to the other? It's not. Nobody is an exception. Even Elon Musk is not an exception. The only thing is he hasn't lost it.
I just think it's fascinating the way it requires both, the two coming together.
Yeah.
Both experiences happening.
Yeah.
And I wonder how often that happens. Pretty rarely, huh?
You said it's fascinating how both of these have to work together. Yeah, it is. It really is. See, one thing in decision making, in thought leadership and all of that, we really don't think of it as something that is naturally evolved and ordered by way of emotions. We really think it is a logical process. And we cannot be any further from being accurate about it. See, the real system, the universal system, there is an order. There is a structure. And there is a system. And that system evolved out of not wiring matters to matters, but how emotionally they are influenced by each other. See, how a spark from one element is received by the other element, and how that other element responds by way of another spark. And that spark is an emotional spark.
Right.
See, that's how those elements are connecting. You see that?
Right.
So, in a business environment, in your boardrooms, in your think tanks, and when you're trying to create systems, innovate, and do all of that, see, we are so used to doing all of those things in a logical order. And when we are doing this in a logical order, can we do it? Yes, we can still do it. But whatever we do is a process that requires continuous learning and improvement. The reason why is it is not observed reality, it's a defined reality. Okay? It's a defined reality by way of perceptions and orders and structures and all of that. But you see, when you are creating a system that is emotionally connected, it's self-learning.
Yeah.
It manages exceptions by itself.
Right.
And by way of managing exceptions, it's self-learning. And it's including the self-learning into the system. So the system evolves by way of emotions, not by way of definitions. See, that's the difference between a system we develop by way of the power of observation and by way of intellect alone. So when we are connecting both of them together, then we have something that is not only self-learning and growing and all of that, but also be logically expanding.
Yeah.
You know, we have the matrix, we have all kinds of data that we can gather. We can see how it is progressing. We can see all of these things happening right in front of us. You know, when both of these, the schools of thoughts are connected, that's really what it is. So there is a lot to learn, you know, and there is a lot to coach and train.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a process. It is an incredible process.
Yeah. Very creative.
Is it creative?
Well, the concept of the two teams coming together.
Yeah. Yeah. And make them emotionally connect,
Right.
not intellectually connect.
Right.
See? And that's what spirituality is all about. How do we emotionally connect with others? Not how we intellectually connect.